I'm gonna play the entertainer while everybody moves their chairs forward.
Jennifer Jobbins is a travel writer, a journalist, an editor, more or less retired now, though she still writes a fair bit. She's got her second novel coming out soon, but she's got a couple of travel books long since under her belt.
This is my property, and I bought the farm, 3 or 4 decades ago, and I always thought it would be a good place to have a festival. And I talked to a lot of people, and nobody actually... Well, people said yes, it would be a good idea, but nothing happened, and I realised that in the end it would be better if I just started doing it myself. So 10 years ago this year, I got a few friends together and we arranged the first festival. I don't think we knew it would keep going for this length of time, but we're very happy that it has.
One of the most remarkable individuals I've ever met. I've known her, like I say, I've known her for 10 years now, organizing a festival with her every year, and every summer we get together and we do this festival, but we also manage to sit with a glass of wine at some point in time and just talk. And every time I learn some new wild caper or place that she's lived in the world, or somebody that she knew, or some movie she was in, or like, it just always blows my mind what a varied past she has. I always used to say, in the early days of getting to know her, people would ask me how old she was, and I am never allowed to tell that answer. But I always like to say she looks like she's probably in her 50s. She was older than that at the time, but she looked like she was about in her 50s, acted like she was in her 20s, had the energy of a teenager, and had the life experience and stories to back up the life of somebody who'd lived for a good 150 years.
A lot of thought and preparation goes into the festival, even though it's so small, but it brings a lot of people together.
She started reaching out to members of the community to find out kind of what do you do to organize a folk festival. She talked to neighbors, friends, what have you. And some of her neighbors and friends were keen to help out, but none of them had organized a folk festival either. And at the time, myself and a good friend of mine, Jim Emberger, who were playing in a band together, were also organizing music nights out at the Taymouth Community Center. And so somebody mentioned our names, and she called us up out of the blue and asked us to come over for a glass of wine, and I almost never say no to a glass of wine, so off we went. I thought she was crazier than a bag of hammers, but somehow the next thing I knew, I was her music director for the first annual. I had never organized a folk festival before, so we were flying by the seat of our pants. The fact that it happened at all is pretty remarkable. The fact that we got an audience there is even more so. The fact that it's still going, we just had our 11th, is, well, it's kind of hard to believe.
Where are we right now?
I think we're at Tay Creek Music Festival.
So, is this your first time covering the festival?
This is definitely my first time covering this festival.
What's your thoughts on it so far?
I think this is absolutely beautiful. I've never been here before, and as far as barns go, this is a soft cedar. I love that you come out to a place like Tay Creek, and it might as well be your high school reunion, except full of your friends.
I can't think of a better, more natural fit than having Eddie do our music. I mean, he's taken what we were doing and expanded upon it really well because of the connections he's making here, doing the music at Grimross and around town and the festival he runs. And it's kind of just, the last couple of years have been a really great explosion of more of the better in the same direction kind of thing. Like, he's doing exactly what we were doing. only he's meeting so many more people than we were because of what he does. It's making it so cool. All the people he brings in, just phenomenal people.
To me, it's an ideal venue. I call it a barn, but it's not really a barn. I guess it used to be, but it's like a longer area, stage on the end. It's all covered. One side of the barn is covered, but the other is open to a whole field. So you got the protection from the sun and from the rain and the weather, but you're still outdoors. It's still an outdoor festival. It's very rough camping, which is part of its charm as well. It is a folk festival. A lot of stuff is handmade around there and things like that. It's a really cool vibe.
I'm Nadine Ives, and we're at the Tay Creek Folk Festival. And for the last couple of years, I've been a volunteer here. Previously, I've been a performer and an audience member, both. So I've come probably 5 or 6 years, I think. I came to Fredericton during what I call my Raffi and Fred Penner years. So I had young kids, so that's the music that I listened to was Raffi and Fred Penner. Well, I said I'm the volunteer in charge of workshops for the weekend. So I thought, okay, well, I will therefore do a workshop. So at 4 o'clock, but really it doesn't happen in my day job. I'm with the Learning Outside project for the Conservation Council. So I work with encouraging and supporting teachers in taking their classes outside for curriculums. But we've also done community nature education and little workshops. So this is sort of a modified workshop where we have coloring pages, and I've got information sheets on how to create a wildlife-friendly garden or a pollinator garden, what plants you should grow to attract bees and butterflies and things like that.
This is something that I've always found really remarkable from day one, because in the early days, we couldn't pay our musicians anything. And we're paying our musicians now, we're still not paying them, in my opinion, a tenth of what they're worth. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying, but we don't have the budget for that. So the fact that musicians want to come back is heartwarming and remarkable, and I think speaks to something else that's going on.
It's wonderful that people from far afield are coming to play here and coming to listen to the music, and I think it's wonderful that my neighbours are so involved. They come and help get ready, they come and help clear up, they promote our festival, they make donations, and they're all wonderful. So my local friends, my local neighbours, and everyone far afield from from Europe. We've had a few people from the US, and grateful to them for coming and coming back.
We've done music on the Sunday before. This was the first time we'd done it in a long time, and having the Songwriter Circle made that work, I think, in a way that it hadn't before. Having the Songwriter Circle just seemed such a natural fit. I can't believe we didn't think of it before. And yeah, I think it was a really magical moment for this year's festival, and we will be doing it again.
This is about log drivers. If you ask any girl from the parish around what pleases her most from her head to her toes, she'll say, I'm not sure that it's business of yours, but I sure like to waltz with the log driver, for he goes burling down, down the white waters. That's where the log driver learns to step lightly, just burling down, down the white waters. Log drivers waltz pleases girls completely. When the drive's nearly o'er, I like to go down and watch all the lads as they work on the river. I know in the evening they'll come into town, and we all like to waltz with the log driver, for he goes burling down, down the white waters. That's where the log driver learns to step lightly, just burling down, down the white waters. Log drivers waltz pleases girls completely.
Every year I say the same thing at the end of it. It's the best year yet. And every year it's absolutely true. The festival, there really is something about it that is special, and I think it's that warmth of the people that, not just the people that, because, I mean, Jenny and I are great, but it's not just the people organizing it, though we have a phenomenal organizing committee now, which is really great. The musicians who show up, but the audience members as well. Everybody just really has it's kind of got a family vibe in that we all feel like family now. And every year that kind of grows and does its own thing, I guess. This year was the best yet. I hope I can say that again next year.
With all sorts of men, but none as so fine as my lad on the river. And when the drive's o'er, if he asks me again, I think I will marry my log driver, for he goes purling down and down the white waters. That's where the log driver learns to step lightly, just purling down the white waters. The log driver's waltz pleases girls complete.
Well, I fell in love with North American music, folk music, folk, bluegrass. I love all sorts of music, but I fell in love with it, and I just think it's just a wonderful thing to bring it to people who, you know, so that they can actually experience it. I think that's a good thing, and also musicians like to have a place where they can feel comfortable, feel at home. We just try and make it relaxing for everybody.